Hi guys, I'm Cooper Chapman, your host for this episode of Surfing Australia TV, presented by Woolworths, feeding fresh talent. On today's episode, we go on a road trip with Sully Bailey and Mitch Cruz, the Woolworths Surfer Groms Comp goes off at Casuarina, and we spend a few days with the Surfing Australia high performance team as they prepare myself and fellow competitors for the qualifying series events all around Australia. First up, we have Andy King running us through a team bonding exercise.
Here we are, we're at the QS camp. I try to do some exercises around profiling, and also to get back to what our roots are as Australians. Like our superpowers, we were a community back in the day, even our forefathers and our foremothers in the war. Like we were a small nation with not as many people as the rest of the world, but we were extremely adaptable and resilient, and we're just trying to bring that back into and modernise it really, like using the platform that they're using. I feel it's been a little bit lost in the last sort of decade. So a lot of the stuff we're doing is through action. Instead of just talking about it, we're trying to create drills where it's naturally going to blend and they're going to expose, not only expose people, but also try and get that thread of community back into our surfing.
Andy's an amazing coach and he's been around for a long time in the surf industry. He's really doubling down on creating Australian surf culture again. Back in the day, the surfers used to really connect and work together as a team, and that's why we had so many successful Aussie athletes. Whereas it feels like now we're sort of starting to be a bit more individual. So Andy's about bringing us all back together and working as a team, just like Australians all should be.
As a coach or as an athlete, you want to summarise everything, like break it down as far as you possibly can. This drill goes right back, basically, to evolution. This is how we became the top of the food chain, right? If a shark's born, it swims. If a giraffe comes out, the thing's walking. If not, it's going to get eaten or it's going to die, right? For some reason, you guys haven't had a chance to have kids yet, but when a kid or when we're born and we're so little, it's just absolutely helpless and useless, right? We're useless creatures. It's a miracle we got to the top of the food chain without getting eaten. So what this drill does is it explains on how we did. Because we're a community creature. We need each other. We need to share. We need to be a community. Otherwise, we're not going to survive. And it's that simple. What you've got to do is you've got to paddle out in this channel. Each person has to have a hand on the board. So it's as if you're shipwrecked. Titanic's gone down, you've got something floating. You've got to get to the back of that lineup, catch the wave in as a whole. Not once can someone's hand not be connected to that board. So you're going to have to work as a team till you get out here, run back and basically touch the feet, and that's the winning team.
You could just see that they had to work together, they had to talk, they had to communicate. And Bottle's huge on that too, and that's why we're so lucky to have all these amazing coaches in Australia to get behind these QS surfers and really just bond and cement that edge that we've had for so long of that Aussie mateship and support network for when you go on the road and it gets tough and you're there for each other. And it's been really cool to see it play out over these last 2 days.
We'll bring you more behind the scenes action of the qualifying series camp later in this episode. But next up is the Woolworths Surfer Groms Comp National Final Camp, which hosted the top boys and girls from around Australia for a 3-day camp right here at Surfing Australia's High Performance Centre.
It feels awesome to be in the national final. It's really cool, like little camp, all like great surfers.
I was pretty happy to get the invitation. These comps are so fun, hanging out with all your mates.
My favourite surfer is John.
Probably John.
I just like his like big drawn out turns and how powerful he is.
My favourite surfer is Carissa Moore because she's got so much power and I just love all her speed.
Steph. I just love her style and how she surfs.
My favourite fruit is mango by miles.
Banana because they taste so good and yellow is my favourite colour.
My favourite fruit is apple because it's nice and crunchy.
Before I surf, I eat breakfast usually, which is like either Nutri-Grain or eggs on toast.
I like to have a big meal before my surf. Like, I love steak
I always have baked beans avocado on toast.
Toast or maybe a smoothie or something. Taking out the Woolworths Grom Comp National Final will just be a big honour and pleasure.
Originally got the invitation, I knew I wanted to win it, so I'm going to put everything I have into winning this comp. I'd be so stoked to take out the national final. It's one of my goals that I've had for so long, and I'd be stoked.
It would mean a lot to me, because all these great surfers, they're really good, and it would just mean a lot to take it out. And it's been really fun already with these boys, and they're great surfers, and yeah, it'll be really good.
After the break, we go on a road trip with Solly Bailey and Mitch Cruz. Welcome back to Surfing Australia TV. One of the most important aspects of sport is mental strength, and we're very fortunate to work with Jason Patchell, Surfing Australia's lead psychologist. Jace is a really good friend of mine, and he has done so many great things for me over the years. I've been fortunate enough to work with him really closely with the Good Human Factory to uncover the best ways for me personally to unlock my brain and my mind, but also so many other athletes to really uncover the best ways to get the most out of themselves.
So the stress test is something that we've been working on for a while. It's basically an activity that's really performance relevant, that tries to understand some of the challenges within competitive surfing, and it really tries to deliberately stretch an athlete's capacities and expose some of their weaknesses. And so there's a kind of an on-beach component which has dual tasks and really is very attentionally demanding, so it really demands a lot of their attention and focus. There's a kind of a battle going on where they have to actually battle other opponents at the same time and be really aware of their environment. And then it's about putting them in an environment in the water and asking them to actually perform at their best.
I'm yet to find another training environment that can quite emulate the actual surf heats, but this is definitely something that comes really close to it. Having different scenarios that can put you under a lot of pressure can really get you ready for events that are coming up.
It's kind of like an activity that we've really done a lot of work around trying to understand all the different demands, and it's something that we're starting to use to start to monitor how athletes are showing up, both physically, psychologically, and in their decision making. The athletes have been incredible. I've really noticed how, I've been really impressed at how well they've lent in to such a challenging task. I think not all of us like to be vulnerable, and they've really been able to embrace that, with the intention to actually grow and develop their skills. So yeah, we really hope that some of these activities can transfer into the next string of events that they have.
These stress tests we've been doing down here at the beach today is just ways to arm us for those moments in heats where it does get really stressful and make our brains really overload and then have to run out and perform under pressure, which is basically what we have to do every time we go out and compete. So it's just creating little environments that are a little bit similar but not quite similar to surfing a normal heat, but yeah, just really increasing the pressure so then we do compete, it feels like the pressure's a little bit down.
If there's one thing all us Aussies love, it's throwing your surfboards in the car and heading down the coast with your mates on a road trip. In this next clip, we check out Solly Bailey and Mitch Cruz, two great friends of mine, as they rip their way down the coast on an epic surf trip.
The road trip as a surfer is like something that you're just supposed to do. Like, you're always trying to get away from crowds and find waves, and otherwise, you're just surfing the same place every day. Especially like the Goldie, it's like so jam-packed full of people now. It's like you got this coastline that's got all these different waves. To be able to burn a couple hours down here, it's just a good way to disconnect from it all. So I threw 2 shortboards in the car. I've got a 20 just in case I've got a novelty session. It's got boardies and vest. And then just my surf essentials.
I chucked a 20 in as well, funnily enough, and a couple of short boards, just a wetty in case it gets a little colder down the coast. I didn't bring any like sleeping gear. I think we're just gonna
we'll crash at a motel or something.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about these road trips. There's like all these kind of like road motels on the way down that, you know, are pretty cheap, but they always got like your essentials. You get a beautiful, nice, clean towel, give them a shower, get a nice area to hang out, cruise.
You don't have to worry about too much. You're just pretty much bringing your boards and wetsuit and getting in the car and chasing waves.
Mate, conditions are about 5 out of 10, but we're going to give it a crack anyway. That's the beauty of doing a road trip. You don't have many plans. You kind of work around the forecast and the waves. It's nice and early. Watched this from the pub last night. We thought it looked really fun. Yeah, it's a bit different today. Wind's all wishy-washy. Mate pie, mate. It's iconic Australian road trip food. Having beers with all the old weathered boys that have just knocked off work, and we ended up like getting challenged by this guy who somehow just schooled us. So that was pretty funny. Wow, this is pretty awesome setup, eh?
Yeah, it gets really fun off this rock wall here as well.
Oh, look at that one. Is that a shark right there? Beautiful spot. Like, never been here before. Definitely worth burning through.
The tide's coming in. Is that better or worse? That's probably better, I reckon. Look at down there's the spot. Mate, it's going off. I can't do anything. What do I do with my hand? It's proper A-frame tubes.
Welcome back to Surfing Australia TV. Next up, we're going behind the scenes at the Talent Identification Camp with Clancy Dawson, the Performance Pathway Manager here at Surfing Australia.
Paddling, sick one out front. The one and only. Oh, yes. The point of the TRD selection camp, just to give us a really good look at some of the best kids in Australia and see how they surf compared to each other, so that we're really sure on like who we wanted to pick for this year's TRD program. Here we go, come on, unleash on this bowl. Ooh, nice. Yeah, there we go, there's a combo. The main, I guess, idea behind the TRD program is we realise it's getting harder and harder to become a champion in surfing, and we want to start giving these guys opportunity from a really young age. So bringing together some of the best guys and girls from around Australia at a younger age to help them push each other and to see what's outside of their local beach.
Oh, it's such a good opportunity to work with these guys that are all so well respected in the sport, and just passing down that information to us is just such a good opportunity.
I'm so stoked to be a part of it. I'm very lucky. Here with all my mates that I've surfed with in the comps, it's just the best thing ever, and I'm so appreciative to everyone who's involved and inviting me here for the opportunity. It's sick.
Clancy Dawson is looking across the whole pathway at supporting the athletes and helping that future generation come through. And he's got great support from the network coaches all across Australia. But just him, you know, as a person, he's a fantastic coach. He's really knowledgeable. His area of expertise is really in that innovative, progressive space.
We're going to jump straight into the next drill. So it's a half an hour heat. It's 2 best waves. The only thing different is you have to get 1 wave on your forehand that counts, 1 wave on your backhand that counts. Does that make sense?
Just try and think of what you've already done and what you've got, and try and make sure that you can give us like a whole spectrum of everything that you have. We want to be able to see your full range, and then I want you to start profiling each other. So go, well, what's my strength? How am I going to trump this guy? How am I going to trump that guy? Start thinking laterally like a bit of a chess game.
We're looking for lots of different things. It could be power, it could be just innovation, could be that flair. Good surfing comes in all different forms, and everyone has a different perspective on personal preference on what they like. What we try and do is have a look at what's happening at the World Tour right now and trying to think about where it's going to be in the next 5 years, 10 years. So we ended up picking 5 out of the 11 to go into the Talent ID program for this year. Kids who made it this year was Eden Hassan. He was a real standout. Harley Walters has also got a spot, which is pretty cool. His brother Dakota was one of the first kids to ever come through the program. So it'd be sick to have our first sort of brother combo coming through the TID. Dane Henry is another one who's been, he's been pressing hard for a spot for a couple of years, and this year he really stepped up. He's got a great air game now to go with his foundation. We've got Fletcher Keller from Northern Beaches, a really stylish little goofy footer who's been ripping. He really impressed us this camp. And finally, we have a youngster, Ocean Lancaster, who really stood up in all conditions, and he was a bit of a surprise package. He's got really mature lines for a tiny young kid, and quite a lot of power. So yeah, excited to throw him in the mix too.
On the final day of the QS camp, Bede Durbidge, our elite program manager, put together a little mock competition and pitted us against each other, and the winner walked away with $1,000 cash. Here's how it went down.
So this is our QS camp, basically a readiness camp for the leg coming up. We've got 4 events down in New South Wales, and it's just been a long time between comps for all these surfers, and we've got a couple of wild cards today. We've got Connor O'Leary. He's come up to spar with them, and I know it's really good that they want to give back to the QS surfers and compete against them, and it's really good for us to see what level everyone's at.
This is probably the best vibe I've seen at a QS camp. It's taken a couple of years to get to this, and I think what makes it is all the Aussies are sort of really getting together now again, and there's a real, a younger crew pushing through now, and then we've got some amazing mentors in Bede Durbidge, who he's leading the Olympic campaign. He doesn't have to do this, but he just loves it.
The slalom event was amazing yesterday, Arvo, out at Cabba Point. There was no one out, and it really got to hone in on their wave selection, which was a little workshop we did, and a pressure drill as well. I just feel like if someone gets 2 proper sections with this wind, holy crap. Oh, here he goes. He's looking, pulling the trigger. Oh, yes, Coops. Come on, you got to give it to it. Oh, that was sick. You got to really tap into that resilience and that grit that lies deep in you, and you have to bring it out when it's those grindy heats or when it really counts, because it's a hard slog. It's only limited spots, and yeah, it's tough. It's really tough these days. Got the talent to do it. It's just got to put it into action now.
It's so good to be surfing against such good surfers and your friends in like a competitive environment that's not like do or die. So yeah, it's really good and it's super good to be part of.
I reckon it's been one of our best camps personally, just seeing how many crew are down here. That's what it's all about. It's just trying to get as many of our best coaches, best surfers, and just pushing each other. That's the environment that's, I think, going to bring success.
For the month of January, I ran a giveaway with the Good Human Factory, and anybody who bought a shirt on the website, just like this one, went in the draw to come right here to the High Performance Centre and do 2 days working on their mental health and hanging out with me and the ambassadors. I'm super grateful to give a bunch of Good Human Factory supporters the opportunity to come and hang out with me and the ambassadors. We live such an amazing life, and there's some of the best athletes in the world, so to give people the opportunity to come and bump shoulders with them, to learn from them, and just to get to see how they operate is really cool.
Yeah, this is massive for me to get away. Yeah, it's just been absolutely hectic since my brother passed. We've had a lot going on, and yeah, this is a massive thing for me to kind of get out of the bubble of what's been happening at home and have some fun and relax. Yeah, it's amazing what Cooper's done for myself and the other boys joining us, going out for a surf and training here at the High Performance Centre and going out on the wakeboards and stuff. It's just awesome to meet some new people and talk some stories and yeah, hopefully, yeah, really vibe out on some mental health issues and get it buzzing.
The idea behind this camp was to give a few people the opportunity to come and work on their mental health while having a good time with some people and really be able to have some conversations that they might not feel comfortable with their mates at home. So to give people that opportunity is amazing to me, and that's what I really want to base a Good Human Factory on.
I think it's probably one of the best things a human themselves could possibly do. You know, worrying not just about himself but others it's a huge factor, and to bring that into a company and forward that through Australia is amazing.
This facility is not something that everybody can come and experience, so letting them jump on the tramps, ride the skate ramp, come surfing and go out on the boat is something that you don't get to do that every day. If you want to learn more about the Good Human Factory, head over to our website. Well, that's it for today's episode of Surfing Australia TV, presented by Woolworths, feeding fresh talent. I'm Cooper Chapman. Thanks so much for watching.